just 4 more to join us, and then we will get our tour started. Telling me I can't take a left here, but who needs road rules and signs, right? Great restaurants down there at Amazonia, I like to call it. Most of you, it sounds like you're pretty you're not so familiar with Seattle. You're kind of stopping here for a few days to learn about the city, or your cruise ended here and heading out back to back home this evening. But yeah, this area has been built up a lot. Of technology down here at South Lake Union. Yeah. Used to be, well, we still have a transit system in just this area, which was called the South Lake Union Transit System, but they had to change the name of that because nobody wanted to abbreviate the South Lake Union Transit System. That was not a preferred.
Puis 5 minutes avant, on se dit oh, faites vérifier la graisse. C'est un bon coup. Avant, il avait du retard. Avant le bus trop bien. C'est bien qu'il y avait. Mais en fait, ma mère, je l'appellerais à une pause parce que je m'emmène tout le monde. Enfin, c'est le champion, il aime bien le français. Oui, le champion, il aime bien le français.
Welcome. Bienvenue, mademoiselle. Actually, I can't do the bilingual thing, I'm sorry. I did take some French in school because, of course, that's just across the English Channel from where I grew up. But if I tried speaking French, you'd be covering your ears most of the time.
You can try.
Now it's the channel.
But it wouldn't be fair on our other multinational guests here today, Russian and Filipino and Malaysia. So anyway, I just hope you enjoy each other and the tour. We're going to get started. I'm going to take you up to Kerry Park, which is going to give you a nice view. Even though there's a bit of cloud cover, it's going to give you a nice view of Seattle. I like to think of this view that we're going to take as the view from Frasier's apartment window. Have any of you seen the sitcom Frasier?
Yep.
Can you turn your volume up just a little bit?
Yes, sir.
Kelsey Grammer.
How's that? Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't want to get too much feedback from this, but yeah, so Frasier
Kelsey Grammer.
was a sitcom that was a spin-off from the sitcom Cheers, and not everybody knows that, but Frasier was this psychologist radio talk show host on Seattle radio, and it was quite funny, quite a funny show. And it has this view from Queen Anne Hill, which we're going to see today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you all
There's the Space Tunnel.
north first, and we're going to do
That's it.
kind of a figure eight or an infinity loop north to Queen Anne, and then we're going to head west over to the Ballard Locks
than you thought,
and
right?
Magnolia Park.
Space Needle.
1 o'clock. We'll end up at the Pike Place Market for a bite to eat. I'll let you go off and scramble, find some place to find something to eat, and only got about 25 minutes there, but you're more than welcome to bring your lunch or your snack back onto the bus and carry on. And we'll just carry on with the tour.
What about raw fish?
What's that?
What about raw fish?
Raw fish?
Nah.
There's definitely there's plenty of raw fish, but, oh, you mean back on the bus? Yeah, sure, why not? That'll give you that'll give us all a flavor of Seattle. I will put a trash bag up here though. But sushi's good. There's bound to be some sushi places down there. My recommendation down there, and I'll talk about it again, but I'll point it out when we get there, is the best mac and cheese, including salmon mac and cheese. Forget all the preconceptions you have about mac and cheese, and go to Beaches, or if you're into that, try Beaches handmade cheese shop, and for $8.99 you can get an 8-ounce cup of their salmon mac and cheese. It's absolutely delicious.
Could you take us there?
I will point it out. I'll take you very close to there. It'll be a short walk from where we're going. Yes, there's a Russian bakery called Piroshki, and that's another excellent place. Very fast-moving lines. Even if there's a line, I do recommend that Russian bakery as well. I'll point it out to you.
You're planning to bring him back.
So we're starting to head up Queen Anne Hill. Seattle was built officially Seattle was built on 7 hills, like another major city in the world. Does anybody know?
San Francisco.
No, I'm not talking about stateside. Another major world city.
Oh, Rome.
Rome was built on 7 hills, that's right. And so early on, the Seattle city leaders wanted to promote Seattle as being built on 7 hills. The reality is it's actually probably 12 hills that Seattle is built on. And we're heading up the tallest one right now, Queen Anne Hill. We'll see a little bit of Queen Anne architecture. I'll try and point it out when we get there. That's why this was named Queen Anne Hill. There's also a lot of very beautiful homes and houses up here. Millionaire's Row is up here. Yes, as we cross these streets, look out to your left as we're climbing the hill. You'll see a view of Seattle, the Space Needle. Space Needle, of course, was built for the World's Fair that was in Seattle in 1962. In fact, all of the Seattle Center campus below the Space Needle had a space theme because, of course, we were in a space race against the former USSR, now Russia. And So that needle was built, designed to have a space theme. Used to have a rotating restaurant at the top, and it still rotates, but there's no restaurant anymore. It's there's a little wine bar, maybe a cafe, but they did a remodel in the last 5 years. They took out the restaurant, decided that it would cost less to just make a big observation tower with glass walls and glass floors and glass ceilings, and so the very top of it now is just pure observation, an observation deck, $35 to get up there, but it is something else. It's an amazing view, 44 minutes or so, and you're back to where you started because of that rotation. The original Space Needle was built for $4.5 million. The remodel, on the other hand, 5 years ago, and actually just completed like a year ago, that cost $100 million. On the left here we have this Tudor building, Tudor style building. Wasn't actually built in the Tudor medieval days, but it's a Tudor style. It's actually the Japanese embassy. Sometimes the flag, the Japanese flag, and yeah, the Japanese flag is out there in the courtyard. And the famous chrysanthemum emblem is there on the top of the coach house driveway door. Just getting the tail end of the cherry blossoms. So April is really a beautiful time, and now the cherry blossoms are starting to fade. You can see they're still on the ground here. It's still beautiful. It's like pink snow. And of course now we're getting the tulips. We've still got a couple more weeks of the tulips, and then the azaleas and the rhododendrons will be in full bloom. Right. So it's not raining right now, so we should be good, and it's fairly mild, but when we do go out of the bus, which will be maybe 5-6 times during the tour, we'll step out a couple of different walks. So bring your rain gear or just a hat or a raincoat. I want to tell you a little bit about, if you want to hear what I have to say about this view, then stick with me, but otherwise feel free to wander on your own. This is the view from Fraser's window.
Quand j'avais été en Arizona,
Personal photographer. So if you'd like me to take pictures, Needle and the Seattle Center is all closest to us here. It's at the north end of downtown. When this city was established, the first settlers.
Yeah, friends. I love to go to. I love to go to friends. I just don't. I guess when you say about Ola, I got a bunch of friends who live right here.
This is it?
I want to go there for the tour and the music. Yeah, there's a lot of great African singers in France. They speak French, Senegalese. Watch them with the always. My favorite is always good. Oh man. Oh God. Yeah, come check us out. Red on me, tall grass base. And best of these right. Another great view of this downtown area is from the water. Bainbridge Island is just over there to the north, and you can take you can just hop on a ferry and get to Bainbridge Island. Just walk on it for $10. You can come back. I think it's a $10 round trip. But when you get out into the middle of Elliott Bay,
you're going to see the broadside view of Seattle, and it's quite amazing. You've got the Space Needle to the left, you've got the football stadium, Lumen Field, and T-Mobile Park, where the baseball team, the Mariners, play. So you've got the Seahawks, the Mariners, and the Sounders soccer team. They're all down on the south end of Seattle in Lumen Field and T-Mobile Park.
So Bainbridge Island is what you were talking
Yes. Yeah, so Bainbridge Island is just to the north. It's about a 25-minute ferry ride. And who lived in this area where Seattle is now, and the Suquamish who lived on Bainbridge Island. So those two tribes, the Duwamish and the Suquamish, Chief Sial was the chief of both of those tribes. And you have to, I'll spell it for you. Sial, it's S-I''AHL. And the way it was said, it's like, say uh-oh for me. Say uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's called a glottal stop. What you just said was a glottal stop. It's an uh-oh, and so you say the name of the chief, Sial, Sial, and it sounded like to the settlers, it sounded like Seattle, and that's why we have the name of our city, Seattle. It's the only major city in the United States that's named after a chief of a Native American tribe.
Atlanta wore my long shirt. I'm a Florida boy, and this is cold.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah, of course. Did you come forward a little bit just so that you could be over these homes? This is an example on the right here, this greenhouse of a Queen Anne style. Probably the one immediately to the left as well there. I mean the one next to it. But over the years, many different styles have been added to this area. Straight ahead, there's a first glimpse of some wildlife. Look to your left, there's a gentleman walking some creature. That's our wildlife for the day. Actually, it's interesting. Seattle has more dogs. There's more dogs in Seattle than there are children. We have another specimen here on the left. I see this one walking around quite a bit. Just get in front of this truck here. We'll be getting out here, but as you look to...
We're not going to get out?
We're not going to get out here, no, but because I want to show you the freshwater side of Seattle. Now here I am driving on the wrong side of the road. Again, not because I'm British, but just because I can, and there's no traffic, and I wanted you to see the ferry terminal. There's a Royal Caribbean ship that's in
our ship
port
we
right
were.
now.
You got it?
That is the so the nice thing about that cruise terminal is they can plug in to the city of Seattle's power supply and keep the lights on, keep everything on. The other terminals down on the Seattle waterfront are they have to use their own generators to keep going. But we'll continue going up Queen Anne Hill. Nice little cobbled street here. So I mentioned, I think just before our last party joined the bus, that I worked on a cruise ship for 2 years, the QE2, and got to do some round the world, some parts, some segments of the round the world cruise. I joined the ship in Singapore and spent several months in Japan when it was chartered to a Japanese company.
What did you do?
So I was a server.
Right?
I joined the ship as a server, which is, you're serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and really your only time off is when the passengers go off on an excursion, and then in a kind of rotation basis, some of the crew can go off at different ports as well. Not every port, but that was a very fun part of my 20s. Long time ago now. That was right when I was waiting for my green card to come and live and work in the United States. So I did one contract as a server and 2 contracts as an assistant restaurant manager. And,
QE2, not Queen Mary 2.
correct.
Queen
The
Elizabeth.
QE2, the Queen Elizabeth II, which was at the time,
Right.
I'm talking the late 80s,
Right.
1988. It was the flagship of the Cunard line. They had a couple of smaller boats, the Vista Fjord and the Saga Fjord, and then they had various others. But now, the Queen Mary 2, I believe, is now the flagship. The QE2 is a floating hotel in Dubai now. Of course, the original Queen Mary is still in Long Beach, I believe, in California.
Yep,
Right.
I stay there all the time.
And the original Queen Elizabeth sank in Hong Kong Harbor, if I'm not mistaken. It was featured in the movie Pearl Harbor.
It was in Pearl Harbor?
The Queen Elizabeth the original Queen Elizabeth was featured in the movie Pearl Harbor because there was a romantic scene
Oh,
that was right around where the Queen Elizabeth, the wreck of the Queen Elizabeth, when it was still just floating there.
I thought they did that scene on the Queen Mary because they actually climbed up on a painting scaffold in the movie.
Oh,
Because Queen Elizabeth turned over.
okay, I may be mistaken.
Doesn't matter.
I will check on that. But yeah, maybe it was just on the. I can't remember. But I'm willing to be corrected. Absolutely.
I'm sorry I didn't know.
So this is the Queen Anne neighborhood that we're just going through. So we're at the crest of Queen Anne Hill, and this is a nice little neighborhood. There's an old high school called Queen Anne High School that can be seen from most points in Seattle, especially at the top of the Space Needle. Who has been to the top of the Space Needle so far? Yeah? Olga?
Long time ago.
When the restaurant was still open.
If I had a CD player in this car, in this bus, I would be playing the music of this movie, Sleepless in Seattle, because I'm now taking you to Lake Union. By the way, the music in that movie is outstanding. Lots of great old songs, Jimmy Durante and more recently Harry Connick Jr. and Joe Cocker and Celine Dion and what's his name? Clive Griffin do the main end titles. But we've now crested the top of Queen Anne Hill and we're going down, and what you'll see next is the freshwater side of Seattle. You see, Seattle is built on an isthmus. Not too many cities are built on isthmuses. An isthmus is a narrow strip of land that connects two other larger portions of land but has water on either side. And the Seattle area has two cities, Seattle and Bellevue, that are both built on an isthmus. So Seattle has got Elliott Bay and the Puget Sound to the west, which we just saw at the other viewpoint. And now we have fresh water and we have here in the immediate foreground. This is all Lake Union. This is a relatively small lake. Earlier we were in the South Lake Union part of Seattle, which is north of downtown, and that's just to the right here. But all of this is fresh water. So this, and then if you look over the hill there, you see another body of water. That's Lake Washington. That is the second largest lake in Washington. It's 25 miles from north to south and about 3 to 4 miles east to west at times. Now, whoever likes maps, just have a quick look at this. So here's Seattle, and we picked you up here downtown, and you see this to the west of Seattle is Puget Sound. Elliott Bay is what we were just looking at. And if you go up through Puget Sound and up the Salish Sea into the Strait of Juan de Fuca, eventually you'll get to the Pacific Ocean in about 150 miles. But on the east of Seattle, you've got this long lake, north to south, Lake Washington, and then another smaller lake beyond that one. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So that's Lake Washington. This is Lake Union that we're looking at right here. That's right. We're looking down here.
Does it connect to the salt water?
It does, and we're going to see that today because we're going to go to the Ballard Locks and where the higher elevation freshwater has to be lowered. The boats have to be lowered down to the salt water as they go through the locks. But do you see what I mean? What's the word settling from isthmus? Isthmus. I-S-T-H-M-U-S. Okay. It's so this is this narrow strip of land with bodies of water on either side.
Oh, estuary.
Oh, estuary.
It's like when the water, salt water goes inside the land.
There's a big.
Usually there is a big, when you go there, people go on top of a little hill that is just right there.
Oh yeah.
And it just looks like it's not there right now.
Best place to fly a kite in Seattle. And it's also a really good place to look at the fireworks on the 4th.
Yeah.
This is Gasworks Park. This is an old Gasworks, the rusty old buildings down there. Tom Hanks's houseboat is just down below us on the shore, the West Lake shore of Lake Union. But you see on the eastern shore right across, there are also a lot of houseboats on the other side. So this is the area where his houseboat was. He had a nice one. It was a very nice one. But he was an architect in the film. Now you see the I-5 corridor, where the freeway, where all the cars
all the way here. That's north and south, Interstate 5. When you go north, it'll take you all the way to British Columbia, Canada. And if you head south, it will take you through Oregon and California and all the way to Mexico.
It's Interstate 5 is so long.
It is.
And I live in Central Florida, and we have interstate. It would be nice if it was warm.
And sunny.
I'm just glad I brought this jacket. I almost didn't. I almost just brought a very light jacket. Wow.
So I think one of the most fun parts of this tour is the Ballad Locks. Officially, they're called the Hiram M. Chittenden Locks, because he was the chief engineer that oversaw the whole project back in 1907. But we'll get to the Ballad Locks fairly quickly before lunch. By the way, some of these tours do tend to go a little bit longer than 4 hours. Does anybody have any reservations or appointments right around the end of the tour that I should make sure I meet those appointments and get you back on time, or are you all okay going till about 2:30, 2:45?
Yeah, that's fine.
3 o'clock.
Great.
Okay. All right. That's great. Let me know if something comes up. I do like to give good value for your tour.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's
Coming up on a 7-way stop here.
Wow.
Don't see too many 7-way stops, but count the streets to our left and right and straight ahead. Just have there's one there, one there, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Wow.
We just treat it like a 4-way stop. Let this guy go.
Be brave.
That's right.
And you're bigger than most of them.
That can be an advantage. You're right, Joe. So still Lake Union on our left, and downtown Seattle is just ahead of us. We're going to still head north a little bit. I'll take you out to the, first of all, the neighborhood of Fremont, which is a small, fairly peculiar neighborhood. In fact, their motto in this neighborhood is, I forget the exact Latin version of the motto. It's something like Libertas Quirkas. Maybe where we get the word quirky. But what Libertas Quirkas means is the freedom to be peculiar. We're now going over the Aurora Bridge, but we have to pay our respects to the Fremont Troll because we're going over this bridge. We don't want a hand to come, a big old hand to come up on the side of the bridge and grab us. So we have to pay our respects to the Fremont Troll. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, maybe you remember the children's fairy tale, Three Billy Goats Gruff. That might not translate to all the languages that we have here, but there's a English language fairy tale called Three Billy Goats Gruff, and these billy goats are trying to get across a bridge, but there's a troll that lives underneath the bridge. So just take a few minutes here, a little bit of a picture opportunity. If you would like to take a picture of the Fremont Troll. The actual story, of course, is different. The area we're going to actually used to be a bit of a high crime neighborhood, and a lot of drug deals used to go down underneath the bridge here. And so the city leaders decided, how can we clean this place up? What they did was they commissioned the art students at the University of Washington to come up with some sculpture or feature art, a feature of art that could go under the bridge, and so tourists would start taking pictures of the artwork, and it drove out the drug dealers, and it worked very nicely. And so, because we like that, we don't want high crime neighborhoods, we have to pay respects to the Fremont Troll right here. So if you want to take a picture, you can actually, I can take a picture of you, and we'll just stop here for a few minutes.
Lennon.
Yes, John Lennon.
No.
No. Why is he here? That's a good question. So, yeah, I'm part of that Lake Washington ship canal that I mentioned earlier from the second viewpoint. Sometimes you will see University of Washington rowing crews race here and compete, and it's a nice deep channel that they can race down very straight. But of course, this is all man-made. This is not a natural river. This was cut out. It's called the Fremont Cut, to connect the fresh water of Lake Union to the Ballard Locks eventually, which we'll get to. Now that fresh water which is filling up Lake Union and Lake Washington and Lake Sammamish and a whole host of other lakes